So this session is about the business of energetics. So really understanding about energetics and how that applies to scaling, to growing your company, and how communication, really the communication with people comes in. And why the topic I wanted to talk about this today is because as you're going to grow, the dream is that you're going to have more people coming into your world, bigger groups that you serve in terms of group programs, bigger workshops, more impact, deeper impact, but also there's going to be more team members, there's going to be more clients, there's going to be more potential partners, there's going to be more people in your life. And as we are creating the structure together, we are building the actual foundations for your business. It only takes you to a certain point where the amount of people, the flux of people coming into your world will be more and more and more. That is the goal as well with your impact. But the quality does not depend from the scaling of the structure. As you can imagine, the masculine will bring it. It will bring more people with more lead pages and any, email marketing and all the things that we are talking about in terms of structure, really like creating the structure in your methods. It's amazing. But when the actual how someone will feel in your world, how someone will feel in the communication with you, how someone will feel about your brand, the culture, the feeling, the quality comes from the energetics. And it took me many years to really get here. For myself, and I don't know, I think none of you really know my story, but I am Russian Ukrainian and I grew up in Stockholm with a mother and a stepfather in the suburbia where both my parents were employed. My stepdad had a really big lack mentality, and my mom always wanted to become an academia. I know if you can relate to this feeling of, being the outsider of wanting to start a company. And as soon as I understood that I can actually open a company, I got to understanding when I was 17. I said, well, if I can create my own reality, why would I even work for someone? So for me, it was very, very exciting. But the thing was that I started when I was 17. What I believed was because of creativity. And there is two sides to it if you started early. One part was I wanted to be able to create my own reality. But the thing is, I had to create my own reality. I really came from a survival point where I didn't feel safe at home, where I didn't feel that I had any role models to show me another future and become another like my mother or like my father. So I had to take myself out. I knew that in some way, I need to find my own solution. So I started working when I was 17. I started working as soon as I could so I could survive, so I could actually have enough safety in myself. But the problem with that was that I built a business where I mixed up and entangled safety and my self-worth and validation and feeling that I am good enough that I didn't get from my home childhood to a business. But it lasted for almost 10 years. And the problem with that was that I never felt enough. I did the TEDx, I wrote the book, I had, was on, I don't know how many stages, 300 stages, lots of people trained. And deep inside of me, I really still felt like I was a fraud. I felt like I was not good enough. And it was so deep and so intense that I took myself to working hard because my mom would call me and say, how is it going in your business? And I was so scared that I will say, it's not working. Then I will have to go back home and they will say, well, you have to take a job, because that's what I was hearing. And I was so scared when I was 21 that I was just literally working myself out of just trying to find a way out. But I got my first burnout when I was 21. And then I got myself out again and I started to kind of get myself back out and trying really hard to find solutions to make it stable until when COVID hit and I had a business. I know on the outside, you would not have known this because I didn't talk about this. If you come from Balkan countries, we don't really talk about emotions at home. So I was keeping everything very private. It was me and how I was feeling was very much in my private home. And around COVID, there was just a moment where there was just too much. I was getting so much pressure. A close family member was going through a lot of anxiety with COVID. I was holding space for him. I was really holding the company, taking care of the stress of our clients who were going through the shifts. So that was pivoting. And I was just so scared. And every time, because of COVID and the pivot and the external stress that I was starting to kind of connect with the safety in my business, every time a client will send me a message, I was worrying that I was not good enough. they were going to leave. I was really in that state of, are they going to stay with me or are they going to leave? Because maybe I'm not delivering too much. And I was over delivering. I was giving so much of myself that there was really not much space left in the end of the day. And if you've met me then, I was 12 kilos more. I really ate. Emotional eating was something that helped me to go through the days. I didn't work out. I didn't really go to see friends. I was just constantly worrying that, am I good enough in the business? And the problem was, it was quite extreme. And I don't think I'm the only one, because this happens when we are coming into business to create security for ourselves. I was going through it to the point when someone sent me a message. I was worrying. I was having this gut, oh my God, what if something is wrong? When I would open my WhatsApp, I would worry that maybe something is wrong. Maybe my team members say this is not working. Maybe this client actually don't want to work with me anymore. Maybe this lead actually changed their mind. There was so much pressure and stress in my system. And that is something that I held with me. I don't know how many years. I was 17 and COVID. We can count, but at least 8-10 years, I can say. The problem was that I didn't see it, that I was running right into the second burnout, right into the second wall. And it's literally at one day I woke up and the pressure that I felt was so hard, so intense, that I literally just broke down. But not breaking down in a way that is, oh my God, I feel sorry for myself. It was more a relief of, I cannot continue this way. It was more of, I'm so grateful that I am literally falling apart because I cannot hold on anymore. And there was this, if you know this, I don't know, in Chinese, they have those pendulums, when you're holding on to the pendulum and it feels like you're holding, but there's so much pressure. And that moment of just like letting go of that pendulum and saying, you know what? It's really not worth it. If everyone leaves now, if nothing works, it doesn't matter because I don't want to live this way anymore. And I had a moment at the night in my house in Portugal where I just felt, oh, okay, let this go. And I went into, I don't know, some type of activation exercise. I don't know what happened, but I went into this deep, energetic release. And I just felt so much freedom and liberation. I said, okay, there is no more, it cannot continue this way, because the way I'm feeling, if I'm feeling this way, I'm still feeling like a fraud. I'm still feeling like another. And there's so much pressure that I cannot live with this. So that night, I think it lasted for 3 hours, 4 hours. I don't know what was going on. I was just sitting and crying and laughing and just like releasing. It was not like my first burnout. This was completely different. It was really a breakthrough. And next morning I woke up and I decided I will not do anything if I don't feel fully, completely happy to do it. I just sat in the floor and I started to meditate. And I said, I'm not moving until I'm acting from a place of empowerment. And it was not enough, of course. It was a good journey. It started something in me. That journey started something in me that started a journey of somatic work and trauma work and therapy and lots of years. I think it's been more than 5 years now where I'm completely committed to this journey, completely committed to going deeper, deeper, deeper. Because what I realized was that the big growth of the business came in the moments when I let go of this lack mentality and this grasping neediness where I was mixing up my self-worth, my validation with what actually was my business. And that has been a purification that is constant. I do this work. I meditate sometimes 3-4 hours per day to keep myself in this state because of the importance I give to this work today, to really purify myself. And I want to give you today really what I learned in a shorter session in terms of the shifts that has helped me to create, in one way, more income than ever before. Seriously, it has been just a journey of those moments. It has allowed us to grow the company and really grow our impact. But more importantly than the income, which is an important part, is the quality of my connections, the quality of my connections with my clients, the client connections with our team, with our partners, with our potential clients, with anyone coming into my world today. The way I feel about it is different. And this is what I really want to give to you today. So you will be able to hopefully have a shift in how you approach potential clients, other people. And I will share my stories because I really believe that stories is the way that most of us learn, to sit around the story. And stories will help you to remember things that maybe words cannot tell. And I invite you, if this is resonating, the moments when you are feeling, oh, maybe I'm feeling a bit off in the way I communicate and I'm not in my power, come back to this. Just come back to this recording and re-listen. And I'm going to see what you shared. I know the feeling of the relief and the surrender, stop fighting. Yeah, I can relate to much. Same here. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. So the first thing, thank you, Luna. The first thing that I would say that shifted my perception about external people when it comes to my communication was the vocabulary I was using. So now, really the first step was going from getting to overflow and to giving. And it's really a vocabulary awareness that it starts with. What are the words that we are using? And it's as you know, many of you work with hypnosis or subconscious rewiring and the programs, like the words we are using is really impacting the way we are showing up. And there are words that we are used which are not conscious. One of those words is getting. If you think about it, I got a new client. How many sales did I get this week? I want to get on TEDx. How many likes and comments did I get? What can I get from a strategic partner affiliates? All of that vocabulary is normal business vocabulary that we are using without even being aware of how much that comes from lack, how much that comes from grasping. And just that realization was for me a huge shift, understanding that if my business is built on getting something from anyone, then I'm screwed. Then there's clearly something profoundly wrong with the way I see business. And it comes from lack. It's taking energy. And also what happens is that if I take, that means that there's some part of me that is not full. So that means if I don't get, then there's a part of me that feels empty. So my power becomes circumstantial. My power is not in me because I am trying to get something because a part of me doesn't feel that I have enough. And this is a huge shift to understand, because if you are living in a getting clients, getting leads, getting sales calls, getting more, because you are feeling that I am not safe enough in myself, I don't have enough, then there's always going to be feeling this lack. And you can get, and I had clients I worked with that had 35 coaching clients, 40 coaching clients. They were earning 20, 25, 35,000 per month. And they were still feeling that they didn't have enough. It has nothing to do with how much you have in your account. It has a profound understanding of, okay, I am having a mission. We're going to talk about how to shift that. But internally, what is happening is that you're living in fight or flight mode. You're literally living in the fight or flight mode. So if you did like I did in the beginning, when I started this journey of trying to find a way out of not becoming an employee or living in the suburbia of Stockholm, because that was not the future I wanted for myself. And I had to kind of see myself like, okay, I need to find a way out. But that affected my belief about, okay, there's a doomsday. If this doesn't work out, I have to go back, which is not true. There was still a story in my mind, even 5 years, 6 years after that, maybe one day I have to go back. So if there's a flight fight mode in your body, you are feeling that. What is happening also, another level, is that you are starting to attract others that have the same, because we work with frequency, right? So if you are feeling lack, who are you attracting in your clients? Who are you attracting in your community? Who are you attracting in your potential, your peers? It's all lack to lack. And there's a beautiful quote from Antonio Damasio, who wrote the Descartes' Error, it's called the book, that I really love, that says, we are not thinking machines that feel, we are feeling machines that think. We are full of emotions. We are walking around with our body language, with our feeling, with our emotions. We are sending out communication with our energy, and the other person is seeing that. So if you are sending out a message to someone to potentially work together, or, any type of connection, intimacy between your two businesses, and you are sending a communication that is the words are right, but you're feeling lack, then they are receiving that as well. And you can really see how that feels, because if you have probably received that on your end, right? That you see a message, but there's something energetically that doesn't sit right. And that is something we can feel. It's so much in the quality of the communication. And what we want to be able is to spread this quality to more people than you have today. If you can do that with 1, 2, 3 people today, how can we do it with 10? How can we do it with 20? How can we do it with 50, with 100? To keep that quality. So the shift that needs to happen is from the neediness that we have of not enough to overflow. And it's not in your bank account. It really is, and as Natalie was mentioning, it is really in the internal game of understanding how are we feeling about ourselves, regardless of the business, regardless of what's going on in the business. So what I can give you as an advice is that you are a full human being that came to this world. You have learned skills, you have stories of that you've gone through, you have overcome challenges. There are a lot of beautiful qualities that you have. And the end of the day, no matter what happens today, no matter what happens tomorrow, what happens in a year from here, it will not change that. Nobody's validation, yes or no, yes, we will work together, yes, you can speak on my stage, will change that. Nothing. If you profoundly know that no matter what happens, in the end of the day, no matter if they say yes or no, or maybe, it doesn't matter. I am happy no matter what. And I'm excited because it comes from overflow. It's not that I don't care, because I do care. I care. But I am not allowing that affect my self-worth in the end of the day. And I would love to hear how that is resonating for you, this part about getting towards overflow, because this was a big shift for me. I realized how much that was for me a big part of the problem, the lack mentality I was getting clients. Everything was a lot of getting, grasping, needing, this pendulum holding on, instead of saying, wait a second, in the end of the day, whatever happens, I have this knowledge, I have these skills, I have this competence, and I'm giving it from overflow. I'm giving it because I want to share this with you, because I love you, because I want the best for you. And this is really profound, because when you start applying that in your communication, when you come from overflow, it's going to be the shit we're going to talk about. It changes everything, because you have this energy, this charisma that people talk about, and it just feels, wow, this is such a generous person. They're so loving, they're so caring. And I don't feel that their love is conditional to how I'm going to react in this moment. And that changes everything. I just realized I'm in fight or flight mode. Thank you for sharing. And this is something we are going to address even in other sessions to get out of the fight or flight mode. Realization awareness is the first step to understanding that, wow, I am here. And that already gets you on the journey of getting out of that. The shift happens. How do we go from that? It's so central. Only realized that a few months ago. Yeah. To get out of that feeling of lack, for me, the journey has been to start asking to people for help, what I really needed, instead of just waiting for somebody to understand me. Yeah, beautiful. So I want to address that. How do we start this journey of filling our cup? First of all, it's a journey of a lifetime. It really is. It's nothing that happens from one day to another, but you are going to, it's going to be in the small details. The shift will happen in how you feel in the small situation that were triggering you before. And the way I go about it is without even communicating. So before even going to take any action, what I do now is that I check in with myself. If I'm going to communicate now with my potential client, with my partner, with anyone that has to do with connection with my business externally from me, I check in with myself first. Am I in a space of I am giving, I'm in overflow? And the question I ask myself is, if this person would say no to me right now, not validate me, even be rude to me, or not reply, how will that affect me? If deep inside of me, I do this check-in and I feel that actually I will feel affected right now because I feel a bit emotional, then I go back to my Bart calls it unicorn lab, and I will go and I'll work on myself and I'll see what I need. So first of all, of course, the profound work. This is something sometimes, if it's something deeper rooted, all of you know that, perhaps it's going to therapy. Perhaps it's working on inner child healing. Maybe there is something deeper that actually needs your attention. And therapy is beautiful. In those moments, it's something that can really help you. It can be hypnotherapy, it can be subconscious, whatever you see, you can start seeing parts of yourself that needs deeper work. Make sure to address that because it will affect your business and it's so worth it. There's so many beautiful people that can help with that, more professional specific on trauma healing. Now, if it's not that deep, but there's a feeling of I am becoming my business, I'm feeling like I am my business, there's nothing else in me, and I'm not sleeping at night. There's some exercise that I like to do, which is called feeling the 8 cups, feeling the 8 cups. So what I do is very simple. This is something I did for myself for quite some time in COVID when I was starting to get a bit crazy being locked down. I made a paper and I put down 8 boxes on that paper. I just did a cross in the middle and then I had 8 boxes in the end. And then I wrote out, what are the things I need every day to fill my cup for my business and for myself? And I wrote, okay, I need to speak with someone every day, a friend or family. I need to work out physically. I need to take care of my spiritual breath work, meditation. I want to study something every day. I want to learn something new every day. Those were my 4 kind of fun, personal ones. And then for the business, I was saying, okay, I want to make sure that I improve the programs, my delivery. How can I take care of my clients? How can I take care of my external community? So potential partners, potential clients. What can I do in terms of marketing? What can I do to take care of the team? I just put out boxes. And then I made the bingo for myself. I just made sure that, okay, I want to cross all the boxes in the day. So I don't get stuck in one box. Because sometimes what happens is we get stuck in one box and we think that one box is everything. So you can move those boxes around. You can say, actually, my relationship, if you have a partner, I'm not giving it so much attention right now. And you can put that in the box. You can say, actually, friends is something that I'm not giving attention. You can put that in the box. You can choose what you put in the boxes. But that awareness of every day checking in, are all of my cups full? Will help you a lot on a daily basis to start creating more feeling of full awareness. Another thing I do, which is really identity work, and this is something we can talk about in another session on these Tuesdays. It's really stepping into who I already want to be. And I have different identities that I work with to remember, so I can remember my higher self. I can remember of those moments when my smaller self, my human, is feeling small and, not really having what it needs. I give myself that superhero that will come in and help me to remember who I am. And I will almost play like a game, I will play different characters in the day to remind me the silly me, the empowered me, the badass me, the boss me. Who do I need to bring in today if I don't have it in me? And sometimes it really helps to kind of activate that part of yourself. It really does. Those are kind of the bigger, deeper things that you can do. But what I do every day before I start talking with anyone is that I connect with my heart. Because if I cannot feel a connection in my heart with myself, first of all, and when you have it, right? And you can feel it when you are connected or you're not connected. If you're not connected, you feel like everyone is, oh my God, everyone's so annoying, nothing is working. This feeling of almost feeling a bit like angry, frustrated, nervous. Oh, let me just be alone. I don't want to be with people right now. That feeling, then you know that there is disconnection in your heart. And what I do is then I go into heart coherence meditation. I practice heart coherence. I do breath work. I do some work on myself. I treat myself and take myself on a date. I have a lot of games with myself. I say, okay, I'm not feeling good. Let me take myself on a date. I'll make myself a nice meal. Well, I'll dance. I'll do something that makes me happy. How would I treat if I would go on a date with myself? And of course, I'm working throughout the day, but I'm getting myself in the state of pure joy and whatever it takes. And I'm giving you some of my tools in terms of heart coherence. It's something I do every day. Every day before I connect with anyone, I go into meditation. I will close my eyes. I will just get into this state. Sometimes I will have heart coherence meditation music when I talk with people. And this is something that it really works for me to stay in this states of openness. When I communicate in written, audio, anything, I will get myself into the state of open heart. And if I feel that my heart is closed and I feel I'm not there and I'm not connected to the person, the quality is not there anymore from me, I'm not bringing my love, Then I get back out and I see what I need to do, if I need to stop for today, or I need to get into some type of, practice something to get myself back in. And sometimes it helps just to do some breath work or some card coherence meditation, but then the quality of my communication is on point. I'll talk more about how that shows up, but it's such an important part. So I would love you to share in the chat, how is this resonating when it comes to filling your cup first before you go into communication with someone else? And what is some of the parts that I share that can be applicable for you already to start discovering this fullness and overflow that you can access anytime. Natalie say, I always use breath work before communicating. Beautiful. And I start my day with big meditation. Joe Dispenza. It makes me feel so big and good. I love it. Yes. I do some of the things as well, but mostly when I'm really needed or I'm already too emotional or down to work anyways. So this is very interesting, Julia. I used to do that when I already only needed that, when I was empty. But when the magic happened? When I was already full, and I brought the breath work, I brought the meditation, and I got into this ecstatic state. Because what happens after normal is that you get into this, wow, and then you bring this energy of overflow because you're getting beyond the happiness. So, Joe Dispenza, if you start the day with that, but you're already happy, wow, what happens after? It just excites me. I'm just vibrating just thinking about it. Totally agree with you. For me, that book of Robin Sharma shifted a lot just before COVID, and I implemented the power hour. First hour, wake up, spend myself yoga, meditation, reading before I come, always dancing. Yeah, beautiful. So it's really about that. It's about practicing, checking in with yourself. Like, how can I get myself? And for me, I use it so intentionally that I don't take an action if I am not in that state. If I'm in lack, I make sure that I get myself back into overflow, not overwhelm. Very important to make that connection with myself at the beginning. The singing is the best for me, or silence. Beautiful, beautiful. So finding the connection with your heart, because that's really what it is about. Connection with intimacy starts with connection with yourself. Realizing, but in flight to flight mode by default, after my burnout, I started to pay more attention to how I'm breathing, my body tension. Amazing. Well, the beauty of a burnout is that actually then you realize more about your body. Like, I am grateful for my burnout I had because it taught me so much we're probably never going to get there again because we have the science now. So it's frustrating in the moment, but then you get out of it and you say, thank you. Now I know my body better. So let's talk about the setting up. We realize, of course, all of here that there are things we can do. And I invite you to go deeper. If you're already doing practices, see how you can implement, really regulate and make sure that you check in with yourself, that your heart stays open throughout the day. Start to see in any communication that you have and what you need to do to be able to do that. Now we are entering the communication, which is really the step 2. When you feel full and overflow, then we open the quantum doors of really connecting. And here's the thing. The problem I see with communication in businesses is that there's already a predefined idea of what the connection will lead to. So we come on social media, or we go on, so we'll get leads from ads, we get leads from workshops, or anything, or someone comes to us, and we see that person as a potential client. We see that person as not qualified as a client. Can you relate? We start to label people to who they are based on our needs. And the problem with that is that if we label them before actually inquiring who they are, we are closing so many opportunities for what can actually happen. And I read in some book about open relating. I don't remember which one. I was looking for the quote earlier today that said, every connection will lead to its natural, it will unfold naturally if it's allowed to do so. So if you meet someone and you connect with someone, it will stop where it's supposed to stop. Maybe it's just the first connection. Maybe it's going to be the love of your life. Maybe it's going to be your best friend. You don't really know. And I want to apply that to business because it's the same thing. Every connection, any person coming into your life, you cannot know in advance what they're going to be for you. You cannot know if they're going to be your client. You don't know what they're going to become. And your quest is not to invite them to your workshop. Your quest is not to say, I want you to become a client. You are not in business to go on social media or go on any potential platforms or leads or partnerships, wherever you're going to work with to get get to have more people entering your world. You see how much of a change it is really to get it out of the vocabulary. But your quest is not to get clients or leads. Your quest is to open the doors with invitations and inquire with curiosity, what is this connection about? Without putting any labels on that before it happens. So your quest is to meet someone. Let's say I meet Jasmine. First time, I've never met her before. My quest is to be deeply curious about Jasmine without putting any label on her and say, in the business perspective, in the connection, in the intimate connection, what are we gonna be? Perhaps she's gonna be my best friend. Perhaps she's gonna be my lover. Perhaps she's gonna be my mentor. Perhaps she's gonna be my partner, business partner, strategic partner. Perhaps we're gonna open a company together. Perhaps she's gonna be my client. Perhaps she's gonna be nothing. And I cannot know that when she just writes me a message and say, hi, I'm Jasmine. And when we do that, when we close down people to labels, potential client, potential partner, we limit so much of the potential of connection and networking. And I see it all the time. And I'm going to tell you two stories that really showed me how much openness can shift that. I'm so happy to hear that. It's a big insight for you, Julia. It's huge because if we take off that label, we open quantum doors. We open what's potential. And you get curious. You really get curious to say, who are you and how are we? What is supposed to happen here? Why is universe, I mean, in many books about energetics, the universe is bringing you people. Maybe you read Abraham Hicks or watch some of her stuff. It's a lot about people coming to your world and your quest is to discover what is here. What are we learning here? What's happening here? It's the same with business. So I'm going to give you an example. I lived in Australia in 2016. And I used to host workshops for artists and creatives about marketing. And there was this workshop I was hosting in Brisbane, and I was on Instagram back then. And this girl, Alma, reached out to me and she says, hey, I'm flying in. I'm a wedding singer and I would love to join, but I'm going to be late to the workshop. And I just love her energy. And I say, wow, she cannot join my workshop, but I just love her already. I say, let's meet for a coffee when you arrive. So we meet for a coffee and we become super connected. We become really good friends and she's smart and she's amazing. And I'm just so excited to meet her. And we start calling each other. I moved to Melbourne and we start to call each other every Monday. And that becomes an accountability, a mastermind. And I'm starting to really discover what masterminds is. And I get into group psychology and group dynamics and how can, I get so excited to the effect she has on our calls every Monday has such a huge effect on me because she's so smart and she's so interesting that I say, okay, let me go into that. And I go on the quest for 6 months and I talk about it to everyone. And there's this everyone happened to be a TEDx organizer. So he says, can you come and talk about this on TEDx in Melbourne? And I said, okay. So basically, this is how I ended up on first TEDx, thanks to her. And Alma is actually in my story. But it doesn't stop there. I moved back to Europe. She moves back to Zurich. And what I didn't know was that she actually took on a half-time job in the biggest real estate franchise in the world as a marketer because she's extremely smart as a marketer and she works as a wedding singer in summers. And a couple of years later, we are still in contact. We still talk. I get referred by her to her company because they're looking for someone to speak at her conference for the whole real estate convention, the whole 38 countries meeting in Europe in a big, beautiful state in Amsterdam. And she referred me as someone who could be able to speak. And I speak with the organizers and they love me and they say, come and speak. And this is how I get my first paid speaking engagement, thanks to her. But it doesn't stop there. The fact that she opened that door through that journey started the journey of me working with that company and generating, I think it was 150,000 from that partnership in 8 months. And our company grew with 600%. And today she's my really dear friend. I talked with her today when I was telling her about this story. She's coming to visit me in Portugal. So for me, this person is one of my best friends. She was a referral partner, strategic partner. She was my accountability partner. She was my mathematician. She's so many things for me. What would happen if I just said, oh, she's a wedding singer. She cannot join my workshop. Let me just go on with the next person. I would have missed an opportunity to explore these quantum doors with her. And she's now one of my best friends. And I didn't know, I didn't plan, I didn't think, oh, she's working at company, maybe something. Nothing. It was just opening doors and quality connection, caring about people, being curious about people that makes me feel good. It was not from lack. I didn't take her on coffee because I need a new friend. It was, I like you. I don't know what it is about you, but I just vibrate. There's something about you. I want to go deeper. Let's go. And that is how I kind of grow in my potential connections. It's not from lack. It's from, I am excited about you. Let me discover what is there. Another of our partners, actually, she started as a VIP client, and this was 2-3 years ago. And she came, and I was scared of her actually, because she was so impressive. You know, she had a big company, and it took me 24 hours of crying and feeling I'm an imposter, I'm not good enough, to actually take her on as a client. She said, I want you. She was very sharp and direct, and I was scared of her. And I said, oh my God, if I'm not good enough for her, how is it going to be? And thank you, Natalie. I love Alma. She's a very beautiful soul for me. And yeah, so this person, this VIP client coming in, she just goes, she doesn't know me. She said, I saw you on social media. I manifested someone can help me to get on stages. I want you. We start on Monday, and I'm so scared of her. I said, okay. And I just breathe. I said, okay. I work through my inner beliefs of, okay, this is someone just coming from nowhere, just paying me, paid in full, VIP client. I said, okay, let's go. And then we started working together. And actually, she's not that scary. She's very sweet, actually. And I learn about her and I discover her. And as we finish the collaboration, we keep in touch. We become more friends. We start to work together more. Sometimes she said, hey, I'm having this speaking. Can you come and just help me with something? And I said, yeah. So mentor, mentee. I'm not coaching her, but I said, yeah, I can look it over. No problems. When I'm stuck with something, she said, I can look it over. We have this conversation. And then as I'm building my new program about public speaking and business of speaking, she says, I tell her, what if I become your partner? Like, how can we partner about this more strategic? And she's extremely good at that. So we do, and we start working together with partnerships. And our collaboration within the last year has generated more than 100,000 euros for us in our company. That's sole collaboration. I had no idea the journey we've been on, and I'm sure we are not done yet because I love her and we are so connected. This is just one of my partners. You never really know what's going to lead to anything. But when you close the door, then there's the problem with this predetermination is that you're a client, you're a lead, you're a potential partner. You are not nothing because you're not good. You're a wedding singer. How can you help me with leads? I'm doing something else here. You're not doing like all these ideas I'm making in myself of the quality of a connection when it has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with the quality of the person. What label they have, there's nothing with that. There's some of the most incredible people I speak with right now. Some of them say, I have no money right now, but I see their power. I see their power and I say, wow, I know you're going to break through. I just feel it. I believe in you 100%. And there's some other people who have all the money in the world and I'm saying, oh my God, we have work to do in terms of values, emotional intelligence, and alignment. It has nothing to do with the label. Really, it has nothing to do with the partnership. And sometimes the power over is very interesting and very inspiring, but the power with is so different. And I wanted to share with you how this is feeling for you, this conversation, before we continue. The potentiality that it creates when you start connecting with people online, potential clients, potential partners, when you don't know what it's in the end, because we really don't ever know. Jasmine is saying, I absolutely agree with you that it's wise to approach anybody with the idea of not knowing what is going to turn out of this relationship. Yeah. And the beauty, Jasmine, is also, what if it can be many things? What if it can be all of it at the same time or none? That's the beauty. You don't know. It can be a mix of everything. Because you are not everything for one person. If you have a partner, you're not only their lover, but you also maybe their best friend, or you maybe sometimes their support. Like there's so many things. We are that for our friends, for our families. It's the same in our business. In my own experience, the labels can change over time. Exactly. And then it becomes interesting because the curiosity comes from what's next? Oh, okay. There's a shift in our energy. And I love that moment. I'm actually vibrating just thinking about it. I love the moments when I feel like, ooh, there is something changing here. There's something changing here. Let's explore that. I never saw it like this. It's a good change of view for me to be curious. Yeah. Because what happens is actually you become genuinely curious, Julia. When you come with the quest of, I am here not to get you to become my clients or my lead. I'm here to explore what is here, what is actually happening. Like my quest is to understand our level of intimacy and what is going on in the space. I just love so much the first meetings with people. I open my heart so wide to let each one of us to be anything that is possible, because as human beings, we are so much bigger than what we show sometimes. Yeah. And the quality that comes with that in your coaching, in your business, in your partnerships, in your friendships, in your relationship, the quality of this openness, it takes off all the labels, because you're not the label to them anymore. They're not the label to you anymore. You just are exploring life together and the intimacy of, where is this going? Oh, interesting. This is where it's going. Oh, okay, not going anywhere anymore. Okay. And you play with that. You dance with that. The growth of relationship is wonderful. Yeah. Amazing, ladies. Let's continue. I want to share with you how I approach different, because there are going to be moments when you are meeting someone and you are starting to see, okay, there is something here and it's taking you on a journey. And when it comes to business, the most common would be probably a potential partner, like strategic partner, collaborator that you can create with and work with and co-elevate with. It can be someone that is more a client and someone who's a potential client. You are going to have different moments of intimacy in specific moments. There's going to be times, and that's how I see it. It's really a moment of intimacy that is in a sort of role that you are exploring together. And there is importance of that, of course, as well, because if I just came here and I did not step into my masculine of delivering, then I am not in my role that I am with you right now. But if we meet outside, then I'm going to be in a different role, right? So there is roles that you are going to explore, or moments of connections you're going to explore. So let's look at them the different ones, and how you can deepen the power and the overflow in all of them. So let's start with potential clients, because this is going to happen quite often that you're going to speak with more and more clients. So naturally, there's going to be more people coming into your world who potentially want to work with you. Sometimes they come directly by referral. Sometimes you reach out to them. So there's going to be different things. And the importance is that there's a power in non-attachment. There really is a power in non-attachment when it comes to people entering your world. So imagine that you have only one friend. You meet a person, you say, Jasmine, you are my friend now. And then Jasmine say, okay, I meet her in the party. I love her. We meet at the festival. I say, oh, Jasmine is amazing. I want to be friends with Jasmine. And then I start to call her, Jasmine, let's meet and have a call. And Jasmine's excited. Okay, let's have a call. And I said, Jasmine, did you see my message? Jasmine, did you read my latest book? Jasmine, did you see my latest post? I would love you to comment on that. Jasmine, you're not replying anymore. Jasmine, why are you not replying? Hello, Jasmine, did you see my latest message? This is how it feels sometimes when we go into the leads and say, oh my God, this person has only me that they're talking to. There's an attachment. And this neediness, we can feel it. It just feels so icky and so sad. And sometimes because if we are feeling that someone wants something from us, we just want to run away. If I start to be like that with Jasmine, she's going to be like, I like you, but this is getting a bit too much. So the importance is that when it comes to this, it's really getting into a space of dating, having many friends, having many people that you meet, exploring. So say, okay, Jasmine is amazing, but I also want to get to know Luna, but I also want to connect with Julia, and I also want to connect with Natalie, but deeply, not just masses, but deeply. What if I say I have many friends? What if I can have many friends? It's the same with leads. When you have this flow of non-attachment, waking up in the morning and say, I'm ready to connect. I'm ready to meet new people who potentially would like to work with me. And I'm open to communicate with others, and I'm open to invite people into our world. Let me speak with you. Okay, love is flowing there. It's natural. Okay, this person is not open to that right now. Let me continue. This person is excited. Having this constant excitement of, where is their openness of connection? Where is this openness of connection? And it's really about how I see it. There are two parts. One is finding where love is flowing, really, because it's really connection is about intimacy and love. Where is it flowing? If someone is replying, I'm writing, Jasmine, are you there? And she say, oh, I'm just replying to messages. She doesn't want to connect with me. At some point, I would say, okay, he doesn't want that. That's okay. I can move on to someone else. I can speak with someone else and I can have that excitement again for someone else. The rejection that comes is not about me. Maybe Jasmine has something going on right now. Julia, how would you like to connect? Julia says, actually, not today. I'm busy. No worries. Let me move on. Not getting attached to just being excited about loving people. And here is also something about, I would say, love. Sometimes we limit our connections and love and curiosity because the other person is limiting that. So we dampen our capacity. If we have more to give, we want to connect deeper with more people. Sometimes it feels like, well, that person that's not replying, that other person not replying, or that person is a bit, you have to feel that. You have to feel like that person is a bit not really trusty. There are moments to step away, but there are also moments when you step in as like the Italian mama. What I mean by that is that, maybe your grandmother did it, or maybe you have met some amazing mothers that just give you this hug and you say, I don't want this hug. I don't want this hug. And then you say, actually, I really want this hug. When you see that someone actually is just scared and just wants some more time, this moment of like holding on and say, hey, I know that you're scared. I know that you're afraid to trust. I know that there's some things going on in your life and I'm here. So also knowing when in those moments when, yes, it's a moment to step away because this person doesn't want to talk to you, but also knowing when this person is basically just scared and giving more time and opening up about that. And this is also in your communication. It's going to be really important to remember that you're the one leading and you are the one exploring how can there be more intimacy in this moment with this person? How can I create the safety, the trust, the openness for this person to open up so I can really understand what's going on a deeper level? Because this is where it was also going to be about in your communications, why I don't really believe in pure sales script. Sales script is great to give you a structure, but without energetics, you're missing the point because there are things people are saying and there are things people are thinking and feeling. And most of the times when you can understand both, it can be so much more powerful. I can give you an example with one of our participants in one of our programs a couple of years ago. She came to me. We met on Clubhouse, we connected, and she was curious to work with me. And we got on the call, and I have kind of a rough outline. I usually kind of a couple of pointers to help me guide the conversation. It's not a pure sales script, but it is a structure. And I'm sitting with her and I just see her. She's in the UK and she's just looking so tired, like just not here. When you speak with someone and they're just zoning out on Zoom, like Zoom fatigue. And I'm seeing with her and I'm starting asking her questions about her business and what she's going through. And she just sits there and I say, listen, I know we are supposed to have this call and I'm seeing you here. And what I'm seeing is someone that is not present. What's really going on? And she talks about it and it's all fine. I said, I cannot, and I told her, I cannot continue this conversation about inquire about your business because you look so tired. You look like you're not here. How are you feeling? And then she opens up how much she feels tired, pressured, and she's been building her business for 6 years. It's not taking off. And she's just feeling like she's also constantly, running around and everyone gives her every type of advice and just feeling overwhelmed. And I tell her, listen, you have two options here. Either you continue like this and you're going to go to another burnout. She was a burnout coach, by the way. Or we do something about it. And I'm not going to give you what you came for because there's something much deeper. I'm not going to give you more work to do because what you need right now is to really restructure how you show up in your business. We need to restructure some foundational work. And I said, I cannot give you what you want. You want this stage, you want this. If I give you that, then I am supporting you into burnout and I cannot stand behind that. I cannot live in integrity with giving you what you want when I see that that's what, as a mentor, that's not what you need. I'm seeing you. And she said, okay. And it was a tough conversation because I was not afraid to not get tired. It was really the important part of here. I was not afraid for her saying, you know what, now you're overstepping, because I loved her enough to say that I don't care if you don't want to work with me. Because if I don't tell you this and you walk away and I got a sale from that, then I feel shitty about myself because I'm not living in integrity with who I am. And she ended up kind of having a wake-up call in that call and she joined one of our programs. We reworked her program, and she had her best coaching month in 6 years that month. And now she's actually coaching Barack after all these years. Just to tell you what the journey of cycles. This is so important, what I just shared with you. When you enter those conversations, I talked about the flow of being full, but now let's also talk about the depth that you're bringing into this conversation, the depth, the quality of that. I don't care if you're going to become my client. It's not about that. I'm here to serve. I'm here to see you. You came on this call because you wanted to grow yourself. You have goals, dreams, desires, and there's something you want. And I'm here to serve you in this moment, in this 30, 45 minutes together, in this WhatsApp message. How can I serve you now? And what helps me to get out of this pressure is to just treat everyone like my clients. When I go online and I speak with someone who potentially wants to join any of our programs, I only treat them like a client. I say, okay, I'm going on the call. Natalie has questions. I want to see her. I'm seeing, 45 minutes of coaching, support, hearing, inquiring what's really going on, understanding. I'm there. I'm not thinking what's going to happen after. I'm just thinking what needs to happen in the moment. How can I serve her in the 45 minutes? How can I create enough trust for this intimacy to happen so we can really do some work here? So we can start shifting things around. I would love to hear in the chat, how is this resonating for you? What I just shared about treating when it comes to potential clients, people potentially wanting to work with you, reaching out to you by message, getting on the call with you, inquiring, how is this conversation landing for you? And this you can only do when you are present and you have open heart. Because if you're feeling lack and overwhelmed and tired, you cannot hear them, what's really going on. That's why presence is such an important topic I keep coming back to. Saying, it's an amazing point. I want to try this new you. I'm a bit afraid I will get nervous before a call again and falling back into the fear of not being good in selling. The nervousness comes when there is a lack feeling of I don't have enough, and there is attachment to the outcome. If you release the attachment from the outcome in the sales conversation and saying, I am just here to serve, this person is already part of my world. You can even trick your brain to say it's already a coaching client. And I am just here. My goal is just inquire, what is this connection about? And how can I, if I can, serve this person? And if you want to be even more spiritual and energetics, it's already predestined. Some people would say that already, your quest is not to do something, but your quest is to show up and figure out what is supposed to happen. And you show up the most purified that you can, just to say, okay, I'm here, I'm present, see what happens. You are curious to see. I mean, this is another level, but how I approach it is that I don't see it as coaching calls. I see it as inquiries of how can I deepen my understanding about this person and help them to unlock something in the moment, more as an audit, more as an mindset shift. Because that's what's the most important, that, okay, there's another path. Is there a new way? So not coaching just to coach, but really help them to see something else, the expanded vision. And with that, I will make sure to just see how can I help them. And if I can help them, I will share with them how I can do it. It's out of service. It's not out of lack. And there's no attachment. I am, in the end of the day, I still have this knowledge, this experience, this competence. So if I can help that person and I say, listen, I really want to help you and I would be excited to work with you. And if it's not a yes, then it's a no, and that's okay. That if you can get to that point of feeling that, you're going to change how you feel about calls, that it's not dependent. And this is where it comes to having more people into your world. So there's not an attachment to this one friend. You have many friends. You have many people in your world, and people are coming in, and there's this constant flow of energy. And there's always more people that want to be connected, beautiful, amazing. And you keep connecting where the love is flowing. Where the love is flowing, okay, there's connection here, amazing. There's not here, non-attachment, just playing with, okay, I'm curious and I want to connect. Who wants to connect with me? How can I serve in this moment? Who can I help? How can I be of service? Really that simple. Jasmine saying, again, fully agree with you. There's no point in forcing yourself into somebody. It's so important to read the field and be able to step back if it doesn't feel aligned. It's also only possible we feel safe in our body. Yeah, read the field. Really read. There's a subtle energetic. If you cannot feel the energy sometime, take a moment, meditate. I have moments when I'm speaking with someone I had it a couple of months ago. I was speaking with someone and I felt that they said something, but it wasn't what I thought there was something deeper, because based on our conversation previously, they said something else about what they wanted. And I think I was still in Thailand. I went to massage. I went to just do something else completely. And then I had this shift in our understanding of, oh, this is not what they're afraid. So I sent her back a message and say, hey, I know this is what you're saying, and I fully support your decisions. I just want to remind you of your vision, what you shared with me. And no matter what you do, keep that connection to your vision, because I know how much that meant for you. And she said, you know what? Thank you for reminding me of who I am. Thank you for reminding me of my higher self. Thank you. And yes, I was afraid when I wrote you the message. Let's have a conversation again. And it opened a communication because I listened to what was really going on in the field. I was not just reading the words. I was thinking, but this doesn't make sense. Between what she said and what she's writing now, there's something that happened in between. So seeing the deeper messaging sometimes is such an important quality of thing. And this is the more you will speak with people and get into the energetics, you will feel the field and you will start to see patterns. You will start to see things of, okay, this is what's going on. And being curious and being also not afraid to ask. You say, I noticed that this doesn't make sense. Like when I read your message, I feel like it's not really aligned with what you shared. Is there something else going on? And open that door for that. Natalie, to serve the person before anything else is clue. No pressure, no fear of being heard or not. Because when I do that, people respect myself and the other person. This is the most important thing. Yeah, exactly. It's serving the moment. Reading the field, serving the moment, see what's going on. And of course, there's structure we can add to that. And it's important to have structure, but without the energetics, we are lost. All right, let's continue with the last part I want to share today, which is about client work. And when it comes to clients, the energetics as well as you're going to grow is going to be very important. The point that happened to me when I broke down in COVID came from a client interaction. I had this client come into our world. It was a very high paying client. And at that point, I was afraid to get fired because it would have impacted me and my feeling of safety that I had then, and the feeling that I'm not going to have enough. And the problem with that was that I got into over delivering. And he was in a very, very stressful point when he came in. He had a lot of requests of the things he wanted to do in a short time. We had 6 months together. And he was really putting that stress, and that was triggering me because I was at that point not healed. So he was the perfect mirror of me when I am triggered. The problem was that he represented the mirror of all the qualities that I would have when I was in fight or flight mode. So the more he was getting into flight mode, the more I was activated. So we were getting into this triggered state until I just felt that I cannot give all the things that he's asking me for. And at some point, that was when I broke down. The moment when I felt that I was afraid to get fired by my client, I lost my power. I was no longer doing what was best for him. I was just listening to, what do you want to get from me so you will continue working with me? And I'm very honest with you because of course, it's something that I look back now and I say, wow, I feel shame for that. But at that point, I did not know better. And many times, if you live in fight or flight mode, you do overgive, over-deliver because you don't want to lose your clients. And it was such a deep decompression of starting to untangle this whole safety thing and learning to not be afraid to get fired by a client. And around that time, I learned about the Coach Playbook, which is a great Netflix special about coaches. And there was this coach that worked with Serena Williams. Do you know Serena Williams, one of the best tennis players in the world? Maybe you've seen some of her. Incredible woman. She had a coach called Patrick Muratoglu. And this coach was the first coach she had when after her father working with him, because her father raised her into becoming, this incredible, her sister as well, this incredible tennis player. And she never worked with someone until she was already at a very high level. But Patrick was a coach that had his own academy and tennis fields in Nice in France. And he saw Serena and he saw what she was capable of. And he said to himself, one day I will work with her. And he put that vision into his mind. And as fate allows you to create realities that you want, Serena was actually playing in France, and she was going into a tour, and she was preparing for a tournament when she hurt herself. And she had to go into more practices for the actual tournament. And where could she go and play if it was not in his academy, in his playfields? So she reached out to him and said, I know that you have playfields and I would love to be able to practice here as I'm getting ready for the tournament because I need extra practice. I'm injured. And then Patrick knew, okay, this is my shot. This is my shot to be able to work with her because she's also getting closer. And she came to his practice and he started to play and she started to ask him questions. And this is one of the greatest, you can imagine, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. You want to work with one of the best. She's in your academy. She's training herself. She's in front of you. You have been manifesting this. Now, can you stay in your power? She started to ask him some advice about how she can do things. And here is where he was not afraid to answer. And I'm just going to read you the quote that he said, what he told Serena. When she asked him, what do you see for my practice? What do you see for me? Imagine that she has never been coached by anyone. She's super, my dad is my coach. I know my stuff. And he goes, you are an underachiever. You could have won 26 Grand Slams by 2012 instead of 13. You go unprepared to tournaments. No plan B. When things go wrong, lose to many matches. This is what he tells her. He takes such a big risk telling her exactly what he thinks. And this is how he became her coach. Becoming a good coach, for me, this has been a journey. Since I read this quote, since I watched this about his story, never be afraid to get fired by your clients. Because if you have any attachment to, oh my God, will they continue? Will they stop? Will they change their mind? You're not a good mentor. You're not a good coach. Because the only way I can be good coach and good mentor is because I see and say things that I see for you that might be risky for me. You might hate me in the moment. You get triggered. You say, I don't agree. I don't like this. Maybe you have your mother issues coming up or father issues coming up. I don't know what's going to go on in your mind. Maybe you just completely don't talk to me for a week, but then you come back and you say, you know what? Thank you. That was really good. And my best work has been in those moments when I've been taking risks. And sometimes those risks are not fun. It's just a question of, I don't care about myself in this moment. This person came to me because they trust me that I can see the best for them. What I can see for them, I'm going to be giving my truth. I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to really give my best guidance, even if I put myself in risk, even if that person doesn't like me in the moment. Because if I see something for them that is tough to hear, but it can be really good for them, then in that moment, that's what I need to do, even if they're going to hate me. And I can think of a moment when that happened a couple of months ago when one of my VIP clients was actually ending her first cycle working with me. And it's a risky situation because, they might continue or not. And I said, I don't care about that anymore. What I care about is I need to tell her something. And I said, listen, I know you want to be on the big stages. I know you want to be one of the biggest, but you're showing up as a victim. And as long as we are having this victim mindset, we have to do some work on your inner work. And I know that your dreams is all of that, but I cannot give that to you. And if you would continue working with me, I will get really rid of this victim mindset because we need to make a shift. And that was risky. And she said, okay, let's do that. She's exactly what I need to hear. She said, you see exactly what I need to hear in the moments when I don't want to hear it. Great. We are having a conversation. Sometimes I'm the bad cop. Sometimes I'm the good cop. I also have the good cop in me. Same thing happened with a client. She was getting into the behavior of overworking. She was sending me so many messages and saying, what do you think? And there was a lot of validation needs. I was starting to see the patterns of that past clients I told you about, where he constantly asked me for approval because he didn't know if it was good enough. And I said, wow, she's getting very stressed. And I told her, what's really going on? She said, but I just want to work on it. There's nothing going on. And actually, there was this fear of not making it, not getting too successful. There was this fear of timing. There was so much fear. That session, we uncovered that. She broke down, she cried. And in that moment, we start to look at her family patterns, we start to look at deeper things. And that opened that moment for her to see, wait a second, I am rushing this because I'm afraid that actually I will not be successful and it's not going to work out. And actually, I'm afraid that my family, my partner, and my parents will not see at me as I'm succeeding. And actually, that I'm putting pressure on myself that nobody's putting on me. And all of that is going on as I'm pushing myself to work harder. So we can create more strategy, but actually what's going on here is that I am not feeling that I will make it. So we had to approach that. The only way I could do those type of work when I work deep with you and when I work deep with one-on-one or in any setting where I coach is by listening to what's really going on and not caring if you're going to like me at the end of the day or not. Because if I see something that can be helpful and maybe I don't have, of course, I'm not having the only way to see it, but if I can see something that from my point of view or from my experience is something that I'm seeing that you can explore, and I'm not telling that because I am afraid how you're going to feel about it, then I'm not a good mentor. It's a very important thing that I learned from this Patrick coach. Never be afraid to get fired. Never. Because if you are attaching your success to clients, money, any of this is what it comes back to. If you're attaching, grasping on, then all of that becomes so nervous. Your nervous system is activated constantly on external circumstances. So it's really about bringing the power back to yourself. And I would love to see in the chat, you take a moment to reflect on the last part I shared about clients and the stories I shared with you. How is this resonating for you? Makes so much sense because also the mirror neurons will transmit any kind of uncertainty or fear of losing somebody. It's totally counterproductive. Exactly. I had this situation as well where I felt like, okay, my client is expecting this, so I have to deliver exactly that. This is the moments where we are losing our power, and it just goes down the spiral. If you get yourself in that state, just check in with yourself and see what you can change so you can get back into serving your clients and not creating codependency between you and them. Very important. Love to see it's sometimes I praise for so many years as a psychotherapist to trust my feelings to deliver to clients. Yes. Trust that deeper knowing. And sometimes it takes some time. This is where I really believe in meditation and letting things come. So when I work with clients, or if I'm thinking even of the group and I'm feeling something, I will go and meditate and do something, write, journal, and let it come. Sometimes you just need some distance, and then something comes and you realize, oh, that's what I'm seeing. Let me explore that. Sometimes it's not direct, but you can feel that there's something underlying, but there needs to be some space before you can understand what that thing is. And usually it happens when we are in our being, something, we are in the shower and we are going for a walk and you realize, oh, this is what's going on. And it's so beautiful. I love those moments. This is how you become really intentional with your teachings, because you can then guide people even deeper. All right. I'm going to stop the recording here for the recorded part, and we are going to put that into the replay section for you, so you'll be able to always rewatch it and re-listen, because this is things that sometimes we need to hear again, just to kind of come back to ourselves, and maybe something resonates with you today that helps you to see something you can explore, and something will maybe resonate later, and maybe you will feel moments when you are losing your power or feeling lack or feeling that there's some type of codependency. Just come back to this, re-listen, see what can land for you, and keep exploring, because this is how we can deepen our understanding of the energetics. It doesn't come in once, right? It's not something that we implement, it's something that we integrate in journeys.